Let me bring in now the Federal Minister for Regional Health, Dr David Gillespie. Good to talk to you, David. First up, I'll come to your portfolio issues in just a moment. But don't you think Australia, especially with a coalition government, needs to lead this debate on nuclear energy and at the very least get rid of laws that ban nuclear energy in this country?
Well, that's why I set up the bipartisan Parliamentary Friends of Nuclear Industries, Chris, because I realised we needed to get bipartisan support. And that poll that you saw in the Newspoll results today just confirms how the community's ahead of the government. But our bipartisan or multi-partisan group has got Labor, crossbenchers, Libs, Nats in it, and we have had many discussions with people like Helen Cook presenting and showing how far advanced the rest of the world is, realising that nuclear is a great answer for the current energy dilemma. It's very trusted.
Sorry, what are you going to do within the government, though, to force this issue? At the moment, there are federal laws that ban nuclear energy. They came in a ridiculous way during the Howard government, almost by accident, to get the Greens on side with something or other. Wouldn't the first step be to get your government to get rid of that ban? You're not doing anything proactive, but if nuclear energy is then not illegal, you might attract some proposals from some of the major companies around the world.
You don't need to convince me of that fact, Chris. I'm well aware of it. Like I said, that's why I've been promoting this technology and educating people about it, because both politicians and people in the community have been misinformed about the capability of modern nuclear technology, and I see it's got a great future. But the ban, the legislative ban, is a bipartisan issue, and unless we get bipartisan support, like there appears to be out in the broader community that is developing, there's a great interest to find out more about nuclear. Of course, those withdrawals of legislation would just be the start, because we'd have to do it in state legislation as well. But I can tell you there are many more people in the opposition that are like-minded, but they are keeping their powder dry because it's obviously an issue within their party, and they all have to go through pre-selections and things like that. But at the moment, the official government line is we're sticking with the bipartisan situation is status quo. But
someone's got to push it. It's no good waiting.
Many others do exactly.
All right. Well, tell me this though.
I realise, and many others.
Yeah, you realise that. But here's the question: Australia is committed to going net zero at the moment, not by 2050, but certainly by the end of the century. Can Australia get to net zero emissions without nuclear energy?
It's going to be very hard, Chris. Look, Helen Cook, Bell the cat. You have described it as I see it already, and my job is trying to convince people in Parliament that this is not. It is not the political issue that they think it will become, because like this poll has shown you, most people want to know more about it. They realise that it is low emissions energy that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's there in monsoons, it's there in droughts, it's there in storm, tempest, and it doesn't rely on good weather. Like being held captive to renewable energy for the vast majority of our energy means our economy will be a variable economy. It'll stop functioning when it's not perfectly sunny or perfectly windy, and pumped hydro batteries can be a part of the mix. Sure, renewables will be part of the mix, but they can't replace that amount of energy which is needed permanently running through our electricity system, because industrial might comes out of cheap, abundant energy, and we have been slowly moth-eating away our competitive advantage by destroying our cheap baseload system. Now, if you're going to get rid of coal, well, you'll need a technology to replace it. It's pretty simple, but we will only get a withdrawal of that legislation that you're referring to, which I'm totally across. I've probably been more active than anyone else in the Parliament to try and educate people on the benefits of it. And as I said, there is multi-partisan support, and the Newspoll just confirms that out in the broader community, it's exactly the same.
Well, we've gone longer than I expected on nuclear. Can I just ask you briefly, as the Regional Health Minister, we've got 80% first jab around the country now. Are you concerned that in the regions it's lower?
Look, the regions are rapidly catching up. Some states are a bit behind in pockets that are really quite disturbingly behind where they should be. But the rollout, the acceleration, particularly in Indigenous, is moving apace. The numbers being vaccinated every week are increasing in rate and number, but they won't get there as quickly as some of the metro and bigger urban centres are. So the main thing is that we continue urging everyone to get their vaccine and to get double jabbed as soon as possible. There's no shortage of vaccines now.
Get out and get amongst it. Don't waste any time. Thanks so much.